Hi, I'm Underbelly, and you suck at producing. Making lo-fi hip-hop is easy. All you have to do is sample some dead guy playing two chords over vinyl crackle, and there you have it. An easy way to make money without ever having to require anyone to be fully awake. But what if you didn't want to pillage the hard work of dead people to make streaming revenue? Well, in today's lesson, we're going to learn how to write our own lo-fi hip-hop style chords and actually practice playing them with an app called Melodics. Let's get started. Okay, check it. Before we can build chord progressions, let's go ahead and pick a scale. In this case, I'm going to write in the key of E, and let's build the E major scale by starting with the root and going whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. Wowzers, and that's the formula to build any major scale. Now, here's how it sounds like. It sounds so happy and jubilant. I wanted to sound like some dead guy playing jazz music. So let's go ahead and take the third, sixth, and seventh notes of the scale and lower them a half step. That's how you turn any major scale into a minor scale. Oh, wowzers, much better. Let's go ahead and highlight all the notes here. Go ahead and hit Control or Command D. Hold down Shift, press the down arrow key to put it down an octave. Press the left arrow key, highlight all of these, push them to the left of the loop bracket so that they don't play. Hit the fold button and wowzers, now whatever note we put in the middle here is automatically going to be within the scale. Amazing. Just so that we don't have to do this every single time, let's go ahead and rename this E minor scale and click and drag that to the left. Now, whenever we want to rebuild that E minor scale, we can just drag it into whatever project we're working on, and wowzers, there it is. Let's go ahead and build the scale stepwise like so. Let's hear it. Okay, it's a little fast. We're not trying to be Mozart over here. Let's go ahead and hit ×2 and make each note twice as long. I wish I was twice as long. Jeez. Now let's go ahead and build a triad out of every note in the scale. Starting with this root, to build a triad, it's really simple. All you have to do is take the root note, whatever chord you're trying to build here, skip the next note in the scale, in this case F sharp, take the note after that, in this case G, and do it again. Skip, add, and then we can just go ahead and repeat that same shape again. Up on every note of the scale. Let's hear it. But let's go ahead and take it a step further. We're going to add a new note on top of each chord just by continuing that leapfrog game. So skipping the C note, adding the D, and doing that once again for each chord here. And here we have wowzers. Okay, so now we're starting to get into jazz territory here. These are called seventh chords, and there's many different kinds of seventh chords. So let's take a little detour here. I'm going to go ahead and take this seventh chord, this G chord right here, create a new clip and copy it over. Let's hear it. Let's go ahead and examine this for a second. This bottom three notes here looks like it makes up the major chord because we can see that there are 4 and then 3 half steps. But if we take a look at the distance between the bottom note and the top note of the chord, you can see that it's basically an octave, G to G, minus a half step. Whenever you see that interval, it's called a major seventh interval, the G to the F sharp. And then if we take the major chord, the G major chord, and add this major seventh on top, you guessed it, it's called a major seventh chord. Wowzers. Now let's go ahead and do something a little different here. For this second G chord, I'm going to go ahead and take that F sharp, lower it a half step, and let's hear the difference. Oh, Jesus. Now this just sounds like the barbershop quartet that, Derek joined in school before we had to take him out. Sounds super annoying and tense. And this is because you can see that the chord at the bottom is this G major chord, and then the F is natural on top, so that the distance between the G and the F is not 11 half steps as it was before, but now it's only 10. These 10 half step interval is called a minor seventh. So we can see that this chord is made up of the major chord at the bottom plus the minor seventh interval on top. That is called the dominant seventh chord, and this chord creates a lot of tension. It's very useful in jazz and lo-fi. Now, if this is confusing to you, I've also included in the video description below a cheat sheet that shows you how to build each one of these different kinds of seventh chords. Wowzers. Okay, let's see if we can use our newfound knowledge of seventh chords to build a sick lo-fi progression. I'm going to copy over this E minor scale clip we made earlier, and we're going to build a progression called the 2-5-1. Now, this is a super common progression in jazz music, but because lo-fi is the unwanted bastard child of jazz, like the Derek of jazz, if you will, we copy over a lot of the same progressions over to lo-fi. So let's go ahead and take the 2 chord, copy it over, take the 5 chord, copy it over, and finally settle on that sweet 1 chord, copy it over. Let's make the 1 nice and long. Take a listen. Okay, it's too fast. We don't want to sound like we're trying too hard. I mean, we're making lo-fi hip-hop after all. Let's hit ×2 to make this twice as slow. Okay, so that's not bad, but I feel like we could improve this progression a lot. So let's go ahead and see what we can do here. First off, when in doubt, you could just add more notes. So for example, you could turn the 7th chord here into a 9th chord by playing the leapfrog game again. We can skip the F sharp, add the G on top, do the same thing for that last chord there, skip the E, add the F sharp, extend it, take a listen. So that's got a little extra flavor, but the chord progression is sounding a little bit unbalanced because the first chord has 5 notes, last chord has 5 notes, middle chord only has 4. So let's see what we can do there. Maybe let's take out, say, a middle note, a note that isn't super important in that first chord. Same thing with the last, take a listen. Okay, so that's sounding a little bit more balanced, but there's something about this middle chord that's just not super satisfying to me. Let's go ahead and hit the fold button, see what's going on here. So it looks like this middle chord, this 5 chord here, is composed of a B minor chord at the bottom, right? Because we got 3 half steps between the bottom and the middle, 4 half steps between the middle and the top, plus this minor 7th interval on top. So B to A, that's 10 half steps. Okay, so it looks like this is just a regular old minor 7th chord. Now, to add a little bit more tension to this, let's go ahead and turn this into a dominant 7th chord. Remember, dominant 7th chords sound like this. They're that barbershop quartet chord, and they're composed of a major chord at the bottom with the minor 7th on top. Let's go ahead and hear how that sounds. Ooh, it's a little bit better. Let's go ahead and see what it sounds like if we take the root notes of each chord and put them down an octave, just to add a little bit of beefiness to this. Ooh, okay, here we go. Let's make this a little bit more smooth by taking that A in the 2nd chord there in the 5 chord and putting it down an octave so that it's just holding down the same A from the 1st to the 2nd chord here. Let's take a listen one more time. Okay, we're getting there. Now, one last thing you can do if you want to add a little bit of extra flavor and tension in this chord is to take that F sharp, the 5th of the chord, and raise it a half step so that we're getting a sharp 5. Let's hear it. Ooh. Oh, Jesus. Okay, now I'm really ready to write some lo-fi hip-hop. In fact, I wrote a whole song called Speak Easy using this exact same chord progression. Then, I teamed up with the good people at Melodics to create a lesson around it so you can learn to play it yourself. For those of you who haven't seen my previous video on Melodics, it's a super dope app that helps producers learn how to play piano. Let's check it out. Okay, this shouldn't be too hard. I mean, I only wrote the song, so yeah, I can totally figure that out. Okay, easy bass line. Yeah, totally. Okay, all right. Okay. Oh, it's like Guitar Hero. Yeah, no problem. Oh, okay, it's not a problem. It's so easy. Whatever, man. Yeah. Oh. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, what's up? No problem. It's, okay, looks like we had a little bit of mistake here. Okay, so check it. You can try out playing this lesson yourself and also sign up for Melodics by clicking on the link in the video description below. For those of you who'd like to take it a step further, join my Discord, where we'll be hosting a sweet challenge to see who can write the dopest lo-fi song using the techniques and tips I described in the video. Thanks for watching. Feel free to share if you found this helpful. I'm Underbelly. Have a great day.